Yeah. All right. Here we go. Sorry, I totally lost track of time and didn't notice it was 12:01. This might be the earliest show I've ever done. 12:01. All right. Woo. Here we go. Dude, YouTube, quit telling me to make ads. I'm not doing any ads right now. Leave me alone. All right. Yeah. So we still have an hour left in the trading day. News, the news is just relentlessly awful, and yet the SPY is like, everything's fine. Hey, big dog. So, my SPY puts didn't print. I rolled them over. But good news, the dog killed the duck, so the duck's done. But a viewer sent replacements. We got another dog, an ape of some kind, and a pig. And so, oh yeah, did that get your attention? You want that one? You have that one? Yeah? You want this one? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. So they might be squeaking away during the show, but they got their toys. They're happy. Now they won't fight over it because they can destroy them individually now. So let's do that. And I'm turning it off. There it is. It is off. Woohoo! Okay. So, GameStop sacked their CFO. It's their second CFO they've gone through in the last year. The shorts are trying to make it as if it's like, oh, everything's falling apart at GameStop. No, I just got rid of a CFO. They got another CFO. That's fine. But they're trying to spin it as if it's bad news and GameStop isn't worth anything as a result. But next week, I fully expect us to get the announcement that the marketplace is going to go live. And hopefully get a little FOMO from that as we move into Web 3 with GameStop. Adam Aaron gave out another gold NFT. Woo! Yay. And what else happening? What else? We've got... oh yeah. Berkshire Hathaway is writing off a $6 billion loan that they gave to 3AC, and which is strange. Like, why Berkshire would be lending money to crypto-based organizations when all Warren Buffett's ever done is just shit on crypto, saying $25 for Bitcoin is $25 too much, stuff like that. So, if he didn't hate crypto before, he must really hate it now. Since it just lost him $6 billion. Yeah, there's William Morgan posted a couple of things to me today about various crypto organizations that are losing all their money. And Bitcoin's up for some reason. Go figure. Okay. MB was first. Dog Toddler, happy birthday, Houston. And Legacy 10 Productions. Don't look now, Mariners are 500. Fish wears a mattress. The Mariners are at 500. Woo! Let's make a playoff race, baby. I don't know if they've got the chops for it, but the bullpen's starting to pick up. They're starting to be lights out. That's good. Their offense still garbage. They just can't hit for shit. The entire team's hitting the Mendoza line. It's like last year. For some reason, they managed to almost get to the playoffs, and they can't hit anything. Okay. Chris R. Houston, check out SRG. They're potentially doing a massive payout, $16 per share from liquidation. Price action has been nuts. SRG. SRG. $10. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm doing. Let's get the Chrome in there. I always forget to assign the Chrome before. So, $16 payout, 10.71 is the current price. What was it last week? Oh my. Ooh, would have been time to jump on it yesterday, huh? Oops. Where were they? Where was their bottom? Their bottom is at 521 last week. Man, $16 payout, not too shabby. Heritage Growth Properties Class A. All right. Well, if you had the chance to get on that, good for you. You still make 60% on your money. Get it now. All right. Fudge your teats off. Still one of the best names out there. Houston, what happens if hedge funds do PIL, payment in lieu, for the share dividend to brokers despite the tax implications? The brokers would just then be responsible to buy the shares, or what? I don't think they're allowed to give them a payment in lieu. I think they have to give them the physical shares, and not force the brokers to buy it, because the brokers getting the cash would not be able to afford all the shares that are needed. So they would need the shares themselves. And you also say, can retail be forced to accept PIL instead of shares? Only if you lent out your shares willingly. You said, I am lending shares and accepting, contract terms for this. Otherwise, no. You get shares in your account, and they owe you shares. So you can't, unless you are a lender, you aren't going to get a PIL instead. So that's why I'm thinking we're going to see. I don't know if we'll see everyone do recalls on their shares, on their lent out shares, by next Friday. But we'll probably see quite a few of them, because the tax implications are huge. If you lent out 1 million shares, that means you're going to be getting 3 million shares as payment in lieu, supposedly. And, tax implications on that could be worth $100 million, $30 million in taxes or so, maybe more. And they don't want to pay that. No one wants to pay that. No one wants to pay taxes. They want to avoid that as much as they can. It's their entire goal in life. So any lending institution who is taking cash instead, they just did it wrong. Sad Boy Incorporated. Houston, how do I buy GameStop drastically above market price? What if I want to buy stock for $1,000? How would I manage to do that? Can one man trigger the options market by buying stuff go in the money? I thought about that myself, about doing fractional buys at ridiculous prices. So I get 1/1000th of a share for $1, something like that. It hasn't worked so far. I've tried. Maybe if 1,000 people do it, it might work. I'm not advocating that 1,000 people should band together and conspire to do such things to manipulate the market, because that would be what the hedge funds are doing, and we all know that the hedge funds are totally breaking the law. So, but fractional shares might be able to do something like that. A whole bunch of people doing fractional shares like that. What was that? All right, everyone's got their squeak toys. They're happy. Jason Blackwell. Hi, Houston, and everyone. Since everyone seems to have gotten their Tide shares, what does that mean? Does that mean there were no synthetic BBIG? I don't know. My big bummer is that the Tide shares were not worth anywhere near what they said they were going to be. They were worth 1/5 of what they promised. I'm wondering just how many of those Tide shares are legit and how many of them aren't. I'd be interested to see. We'll know about BBIG in 3 months, or 2.5 months now. Until then, sit and wait. But I'm a little disappointed in the Tide share not being worth what they claimed. Drew, Houston, do the tax terms get grandfathered? So if I have a long term, will my dividend shares associated with those long term as well, even though technically they are new to me? They should be, because they represent your initial investment. Legacy Hidden Productions also asks, Houston, do you think Ryan Cohen has a kill shot we are completely unaware of? I mean, I'm not aware of one. We don't know what we don't know, as Donald Rumsfeld once said. There are known unknowns. I'm sure they're working on something. They're timing these things specifically for a reason, so that they announce the dividend, launch the marketplace, and then give out the dividend. I think that sucker is working in threes. They also have 600 million plus shares in almost 700 million shares in waiting at the corporate headquarters for any other possible things in the future. They need to raise capital, give stuff away as bonuses, more dividends, whatnot. So they got that happening. Ham fingers. Houston, anything gnarly, squirrely happened to you today? Oh, my students make fun of my verbiage just as much as you guys do. Not yet, but we're going back to the gym later. Going to get ripped some more. I am. My whole body feels like a bruise right now. I'm so sore, but it's good. I'm getting yoked, baby. Getting yoked. We're putting it in there. We're getting yoked, yo. Lost Ways was up with your boy Vince McMahon. Hopefully prison. I never liked that dude. He's always been a shitty person. If you guys don't know, Vince McMahon basically has been accused of raping a bunch of women and covering up crimes of his wrestlers and just being a terrible person. So he got booted out of his own company. He's no longer in charge of WWE, and hopefully, someone will just charge him with all the crimes he's committed, and that'll be it for him. First name, last name. Houston, are there any good geological sites in New Jersey to check out? Anywhere to collect gems or cool stones? Franklin. Franklin County, New Jersey is your place. That's where they got lots of cool stones. Mindat, Franklin County, New Jersey. Oops. Sussex. Sorry, Franklin Mining District, Sussex County, New Jersey. That's where you want to go. This is the place. There's a huge group of mineralization here. If you don't know where this is sort of like north central New Jersey. There are lots of mineralized stuff here. This is under UV, so you can see all sorts of cool shit. This is where you can get rhodonite. There's lots of old mines here for different gemstones. What do we got here? It'll list them all. Come on, list my. Okay, there we go. So, cool ones. Albite is cool. I mean, everything's here. It's the entire alphabet. There's thousands. Go through all of them. I want rhodonite's probably the coolest. That stuff's worth a fortune. Yeah, rhodonite. Get beautiful rhodonite there. Neon red color. The only place to really get it is Brazil, and it can be worth thousands of carats cut. But these are basically all the minerals you can find in Franklin County. It might be one of the most mineral-rich places on Earth. Sorry, Sussex County. In Franklin Mining District, Sussex County, New Jersey. Everything's here. It's just absolutely ridiculous how many things. Do we have... we got tourmaline. Yep, tourmaline's there. So spessartine. Those are worth a lot. Spinel as well. Hell yeah. Got a photo evidence of the spinel? Okay, these are gross spinels. These aren't very sexy. But, what else we got here? Do we have corundum, so you can get sapphires there as well. Yeah. This is the place to go. I really want to go poking around here as well. A lot of it's private land, so you may have to get permission to go rock hounding. And there are mines that exist here. There are actual mines that are open. You may have to avoid them. You can see these are open pits here as well, off to the side where stuff has been mined in the past. But yeah, Franklin, Sussex County, New Jersey. This is the place to go for gems in New Jersey. And it's literally one of the most mineral-rich places on Earth. It's incredible, and it's a very small, tiny area. It's only a few square miles, but it's ridiculous how many gems can be found there. Okay. Okay. Jay Wright, Houston, can you explain once again how market makers cannot hide behind synthetic shares regarding GME split? Thanks. The market makers are going to owe actual physical shares for everything they created synthetic. Now, I don't know what kind of debt swaps they may have been done, because usually market makers don't bother with debt swaps because there's a loophole where they just don't have to pay back anything that they make that's fake. So they may not have done a swap with anyone, but if they have done a swap, then whoever did the swap with is going to owe shares on that. And my guess is that they're probably swapping with offshore companies that are designed to die. What are you doing? Why are you whining back here? Why are you whining? 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 All right. So, I mean, they can't hide behind that stuff because they're going to owe on it. And if they're in default, that may actually affect their capital requirements to remain as a market maker. So they're going to have to do something. That's $65 billion in securities sold, not yet purchased, or not yet delivered. That may start to eat into them. I'm curious as to what the SEC is seeing when they look into these things. If they're like, okay, we're going to watch and see what gets delivered and who delivers it. I just don't know if they're going to do anything about it when their affiliate delivers or defaults. The hedge funds are screwed, but I don't know what they can do with the market makers if they default. Honestly, I don't. If anyone knows, by all means, speak up now. Okay, where'd that go? Houston, this is from Michael K. I saw in the comments someone mentioning the price of GME might not moon until C35 T plus 6 plus 3. Can you please explain those numbers and what they mean? These are affiliate delivers. They are. You're right. I think it's really affiliate delivers. That is. There is a time scale on when someone defaults on delivering a dividend, and usually through all the is that there is the data stopped. You son of a bitch! What is wrong with my internet, man? Oh, my internet is just garbage right now. So I have no idea how much you got, but it's about 90 days from when some sort of weird security is offered or a merger happens to when everyone starts to actually be forced to pay out. And that's 90 calendar days, not 90 like business trading days. And it takes about that long before people like start to get liquidated or forced to buy or face the margin calls as a result of those things. And we just may have to sit back and wait for some of that. I do think we're going to get some price action this coming week as a result of lenders doing recalls and FOMO as people want to get in on this before the split happens. There was a lag of a few weeks on the Tesla split in 2020, end of August 2020. Like the price rocket. There was delivery and just kind of flatlined for a while before kicking off again a couple weeks later. So we may get a little bit of lag in there, which might be a good opportunity to buy up more or pick up options and stuff. But, you know, we have to wait for everyone to screw themselves over by not doing anything before everything rockets. First name, last name. Houston wants to stop brokers from just earmarking your account with dividend shares, just like regular shares, and just giving you the cash if you decide to sell. What cash? What would the broker come up with the cash for that? I don't think they're allowed to do that, but again, we've seen lots of rule breaking happening, so yeah. I don't know where Triple Batman is right now. He wants me to bring Triple Batman screen. He might be outside somewhere, or he's locked in. He likes to hang out in my roommate's room, so he might be in there. But yeah, Monkey Butt, did you finish your toy already? Are you done? Oh, you lazy dog. Big Dog's working away on his. You can hear him squeaking back there. Michael K. would say that if brokers did that without collecting the dividend shares from the shorts, then they would be holding the bag and paying the bill for the shorts. That's what I think too, is that they don't want to pay the bill for these guys. They may give them some leeway, but right now, like, this has been one of the worst market years in history. The bond market is now the worst since 1786. Is that the last data I saw? So it was the worst since 1865. Now it's the worst since 1786. So we have to go back to the end of the Revolutionary War for how bad bonds are performing and paying out right now. Oof. I don't think brokers want to foot the bill and hold the bag on these hedge funds. They'd rather have the hedge funds just get vaporized. Yeah. All right, Richard Mejia. Houston, now that GME offered the share dividend, what type of shenanigans should we expect from the hedgies? Thank you in advance. Love the show. Talked a little bit about this last show. I think the hedge funds are going to buy shares to deliver to those who they borrowed from, while also naked selling. Because they'll put up with naked selling shares now and worry about the T35s later and all that stuff. They just want to survive one day. Everything they do is to survive one day, and they'll do something the next to survive another day. That speech that Ken Griffin gave a few years ago, some dinner where he received an award, and he talked about how 08-09 Citadel was on the cusp of dying and being obliterated. And he said every single day we came in to work to survive one more day. That's all they did. And I think a lot of these hedge funds and market makers like Susquehanna and Citadel, they are literally doing that. They're coming in and they're like, okay, what do we have to do today to survive until tomorrow? And, they may have some teams working on stuff for the future, thinking about, we're going to have a strategy for 5 years from now. But a lot of what they're doing, I think, is survival for today. And they know they can break the law and bend the rules, and it'll take months or years for the SEC to finally find them. And when they do get fined, it's going to be a fraction of the profit that they made. So we have a very active opponent, and the active opponent has superpowers that we don't have. So, yeah. G-Font. Not sure if you follow the Kraken, but your team landed what was projected to be the number one prospect. Shane Wright is the franchise center. I know absolutely nothing about hockey. Everything I know about hockey is my cousin Judson. He played at University of Maine and is now a hockey coach for the AHL, I think. And was hockey ref for the AHL, and he went and was one of the refs for the Olympics in 2018. He's hoping to be eventually an NHL ref, but yeah. So that's all I know about hockey. That is it. Steve Gaghagen. I always say it wrong. You got spots for me. You got somewhere for me to go. It's Friday. Let's go somewhere. Come on. Spam, bam, bam. Where are we going? We're going to Europe. We're going to Ireland. We're going somewhere outside. Ooh. Got ourselves a clover maze. It's a 3-leaf clover, so it's unlucky to get to the center. No. All right, let's see if we can follow it. It ends. Okay. I don't know how you get to the center then. You enter here, and then it just ends. That's what it looks like to me. All right? It just ends right there, and if you make it, it ends there. So how are you supposed to get to the center? Unless this is a hedge that covers your head, and then looks like it ends. That looks like it ends as well. That looks like it ends. I don't know how you're supposed to get to the center of this thing if immediately from when you enter you end. But hopefully there's like a pot of gold in there. I dig it. Thank you. Oh, Chris R. reminded me to do the like and subscribe thing, which I always forget to do. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell your friends. I think it's been like 5 months since I've reminded someone to do that. Oops. William Morgan, Paramount and AMC in talks concerning merger. Well, all the antitrust rules that were against studios owning movie theaters are over. Congress managed to get rid of that, which I think is probably bad news, because the reason why those rules were in place were for a reason. But if Paramount and AMC are in talks of merging, then Paramount takes on all that debt, and I think we end up with Paramount stock. Suddenly Paramount will be the largest chain owner in the world, and they can, decide, hey, we're not going to put Disney movies in here, or Sony movies, or Columbia movies, or whatever. Actually, I think Paramount and Sony are related. I think Sony owns CBS and whatever. They're all tied together. Anyway, I think for Americans, it's bad news. For shareholders, probably good news, at least for a while. But yeah. Also, William Morgan also says Tether, the world's biggest stablecoin issuer, liquidated a $900 million loan made to crypto lender Celsius Network. Okay. So another crypto lender are basically writing off their debts. Magic how that happens, man. Okay, well, we're to the William Morgan news feed here. Okay. Talks about the 3 former traders accused of turning the metals desk into a criminal enterprise. Yep, they were basically selling things that didn't exist, which... Why you can do that for stocks and not for metals, I don't know. Manhattan apartment sales have decreased. The sales across the country have decreased for everything. Andrew Vanderhelm. Hi, Houston. Hi, Andrew Vanderhelm. And William Morgan, GameStop's CFO is no longer with the company. GameStop is laying off employees across the company. I think the layoffs are going to be at brick and mortar stores where the leases are up. And those are probably in areas where the brick and mortar stores are a little redundant, or they'll be able to serve them better through online sales. Took a noon show, makes me yawn or something. Okay. William Morgan, Fed states there'll be no bailouts of banks this time. Yeah, right. They're gonna bail out banks. they can say there'll be no bailout banks, but they're gonna bail out banks. We can't afford not to bail out banks. It might be really unpopular, like, oh, how dare you give those billionaires money? But if banks don't get bailed out, then no one can buy homes, no one can buy cars, no one can buy products or goods or services or anything. Because if there's no short-term credit, consumer credit, commercial credit, the entire economy's screwed. So the Fed will bail out banks. Why? Because the Fed is owned by the banks. They're going to bail their folks out. They might say, oh, we're not going to do that, but they will. They'll bail them out. Jonathan, monkey looks cute as fuck. Monkey butt, where'd you go? Monkey butt. Where'd you go? Come here. What? Where'd you go? Why'd you leave us? Come on. Come here. Come on. Monkey butt. Come on. Come on. Come on. There you go. There's our good dog. Yes. Oh, you want to leave? You can't leave. You can't go to the other room. I know you're sitting in front of the fan, weren't you? Because it felt wonderful. Yeah, that's okay. I'll let you sit in front of the fan again. Oh, you're going to scratch your noodle off, though. Okay. Whoa, where is that? Okay. William Morgan also says class action lawsuits by pension funds against brokers for illegally loaning out shares. There you go. This is the thing, is we talked about this in the past. If you are a long position and you lend out your shares for 1% or whatever usual garbage crap you get for it to short hedge funds who then absolutely just torch your investment, you weren't coming out on top in the end. Right? If you put $100 million into a stock and you lend it out at 1% a year, so you're getting $1 million back each year on that $100 million investment, and that short hedge fund then just obliterates your stock, and that $100 million investment is suddenly worth $10 million, you just lost $89 million. Yeah, you got your $1 million in interest, but the rest of your investment's gone. So why would you lend anything out if you are long on a position? You're like, oh yeah, sure, take my shares and then blow it up. So when you do get your shares back, it's worth 10% of what you originally had? No. What a dumb idea. And I think pensions and mutual funds are kind of waking up to this now. They're like, oh, every time I lend something out, I have less money in the end. Huh. Weird. What are you poking me in the back, you weirdo? So it's a very strange thing. So I totally get these pension funds being pissed off about the shares being lent out because it totally killed their investment they originally made. So yeah, more power to them, man. Matt Kroger, read the label on the package. I think I threw those things away. I'll have to read those labels later. But apparently they're indestructible. And the squeaker, when it's punctured, will still squeak. Oh, no, you already have one. You already have one you're chewing on. You don't get to chew on another one. No, work on your old one. Work on this one. Oh, you killed it already. Well, Snoopy has... I don't think it squeaks anymore. Snoopy has destroyed the pig. Pig is done. All right, well... Monkey's on the floor over there. You can go destroy that one. Okay. That was very short-lived. You are a destructor, big dog. Michael Steegs, Houston. Yesterday I saw the price after hours drop from 135 to 120. Do you think this is manipulation and legal? Part of it's manipulation. Part of it was the announcement of the CFO getting sacked. And I think that was it. I'm all for it, dropping a little bit because I picked up a couple options today as a result of that, so I'll take that. But I think they're gonna try and come up with more bad news when they can, but whatever. Just from Dax, thoughts on the assassination of former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe? Like a scene out of a movie, he used a homemade gun and hid it inside a camera. Pretty wild. I saw that video footage. Not fun. Don't scratch your ear so hard that it makes you cry. What is wrong with you? Yeah, don't scratch your ear that hard, you weirdo. I was never a big Shinzo Abe fan. He, adamantly denied war crimes committed by the Japanese in World War II. His grandfather was a war criminal from World War II. The nationalism and trying to normalize the Japanese military. Not a big fan of that. He represents kind of like the racist mainland Japanese that I don't like very much. The people who make my stepmom feel shitty for being Okinawan, that's who Abe represented. He was dying, wasn't he? That's why he resigned. He had MS or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But no, it's assassination of a political leader is always just wild. It's been a while since we had one as graphic as this. Who would be maybe Itzhak Rabin, or no, the Russian ambassador to Turkey at the art gallery when he got blown away by that dude. But man, it's gnarly. It's gnarly for sure. And the gun inside the camera thing, that is straight out of True Lies. Remember that movie with Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis, the news crew come in, and the guy's camera actually has a gun inside of it. That's some spy shit right there, for sure. Where was I? Saint Sapien, Houston, you're the man? I am a man, I know that. Daniel Motes. Question, Houston. Where do you see the housing market in 4 to 6 months? Happy birthday. 4 to 6 months, housing prices will start to drop appreciably. I bet by early fall, we'll start getting the doomsday news about the housing market. That will be coming out. Big dog. You are a furry creature. This dog, like, what he feels like is how I imagine, like, if I were to, like, scratch a Wookiee, this is what it feel like to scratch a Wookiee. Just long, light fur. Just big, meaty creature. If you want to pet a Wookiee, pet a Snoopy. You're breathing heavy, dude. What's up? What's up? What's up? China real estate market slide early in game after $1 trillion in defaults. That's from Bloomberg via William Morgan. Yeah, like I said, we're probably facing $9 trillion in defaults from China within the next year or so. Because it's not just the real estate market that's going to default. It's going to start being the municipalities. Because the municipalities were never allowed to issue bonds in the first place, but they still did it to build roads and schools and trains and all sorts of stuff. They built huge infrastructure based on these municipal bonds. And the Chinese government kind of looked the other way because it was improving the infrastructure across the country. And these municipalities don't have the cash to pay that stuff back. China built 22,000 miles in high-speed rail using our money. They didn't use their money, they used our money to do it. They borrowed money from Western banks and governments. We sent that money over there, they built that stuff, and they're not going to pay us back. They just aren't. China basically got a whole bunch of infrastructure for free, and they're just going to ignore any of those bills. So yeah, you aren't getting paid back. And it's not like Royal Bank of Canada can go in and seize a rail line and all of a sudden own a rail line in China. China's not going to allow them to do that. What are you going to do, Royal Bank of Canada? Fucking nothing. Nothing. Hi, big dog. You're just a snuggle creature today. Are you sad that you destroyed your pig? Is that what it's about? And you're just trying to snuggle up to me to give you that ape to destroy next? Yeah? Is this purely transactional snuggling that's happening? Okay. Nicholas Harris, Houston. Regarding GME, how do you see the next few months playing out? Just speculate, just for fun. Thanks. Well, I see price action happening this week as some institutions recall shares and the FOMO happens. So we should see some jumping. When the shares finally get issued on the 22nd or whatever, I expect the price, will drop as there's more shares out there. I don't think it will drop probably exactly at a 1 to 4 rate, but might be close. Then we're going to see defaults on those who did not provide shares for the lending institutions, for the institutions that did not lend out that did not recall their shares. And we'll see forced buying happen as they default. That should give us more price action. But it may take a few months for that to hit. That's kind of where I'm seeing it. I'm seeing two kind of waves happen. Saint Sapien, what does Rule 3 and 10 mean for the stock split? How are they going to wiggle out of it? Also, you are my hero. How am I anyone's hero? The rule, I can't remember which one's which now. My brain totally confuses all these rules together. It's Rule 3 is the one that allows them to make like a daily synthetic to avoid default, I believe. That's correct. And it's Rule 10 that allows them to give all of their assets I'm asking you, Snoopy. This dome right here is to retain something. Rule 10 allows them to lend or borrow cash and take all their assets as collateral rather than just straight liquidation, which is it's like one extra step to liquidation because that then they'll be able to pay back that loan because they don't have any assets, and those guys have to sell it to get their cash back anyway. So it's liquidation with one extra step. I can't remember exactly, but I don't know how it's going to necessarily play out with the GME dividend. I don't think they can create synthetics of any kind to provide shares for that dividend. I don't think that's how it works. So what it will do is it will protect them from margin calls, at least temporarily. But in the end, there's going to be so many hedge funds that are underwater on this that I don't know if they'll be able to put up with it for long. Okay. Where was that? That was Rule 10. Oops. Darren Haya. Houston, I'm heading to Sheffield from Singapore for university. So, oh, there you go. I didn't. Yeah, a couple weeks ago, Darren was talking about how he's going to go to school overseas, and he's nervous. Yeah. But Sheffield. So you're going to Sheffield, England? You should have a great time. You know. You will go to lots of pubs and you'll meet lots of people who, talk funny, and you have a great time. My friend Eric, when he did, he went to Stanford, and he did a year in Oxford, as an sort of like exchange for during his undergrad. And Eric I love the man, but he's the least hip human being in the entire world. He he hunter orange hoodie and go to nightclubs, and it's like, girls won't talk to me. I'm like, really? You're dressed in a hunter neon orange hoodie at a nightclub in London and the girls just don't find you interesting? That's amazing how that happens. So, I'm sure you'll blend in. But you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna have a good time. Diaz Perk, why does Adam Aaron always make an announcement straight after GameStop? Ride those coattails, man. That's why. Gotta do something. Because they didn't really do anything else. Okay. Wait one sec. I remember. There. Okay. All right. So someone wants to know how Jetstone was formed. It is. I can't remember exactly. It's high in carbon. I know that. I can't remember. The jet was originally found in England, I believe. Yeah, location in England. Yeah. So it's decomposition of wood. So it's wood that broke down into carbon basically, and then formed a hardstone via salt water. Okay. So it's wood, got buried, salt water intruded, broke down, and basically, and under compression, became a stone. If it meets fresh water, it will become soft jet. Apparently, so yeah, it's a brittleized, lithified wood. All right. 75% carbon, 12% oxygen, with some sulfur and hydrogen making up the rest. All right. Very light. Not too much heavier than water. There you go. And if you burn it, it can make it smell similar to coal because it's a lot of carbon in there. There you go. That's your jet. It was originally found in England, I believe. Yeah, Whitby, England. It's part of it's in a shale. So the trees got buried, and then how shale's made is basically you have all these minerals in the rocks going different ways, and then everything gets tilted to one side and turned into a shale, so it can get granulated that way. Yeah. And the jet in England is from a fossilized wood species similar to the extent of Chilean pine that no longer exists in the Isles. There you go. It's found in France, found in Spain, found in the United States, and a couple of spots in Turkey. Oh, there's a bunch in the Henry Mountains in Utah. That's probably where my brother lives. The Front Range of Colorado, El Paso County. All right. I'd go look for that. I'm going to go look for those. All right. Word. Where was that? That was Jet 1. Nerds. Houston, what do you think of Fidelity not allowing people to DRS transfer their shares? Should we be worried if your broker is Fidelity? I know they're long. Just wondering what your opinion on this is. I think it just has to do with the fact that there's an announcement made about a dividend, and in order for you to get that dividend, they can't go through a transfer process right now because they can't guarantee it's going to be processed before the date of record. So that's why they put a halt to it. You'll be able to transfer afterwards, but the whole reason, like, no one's going to transfer anything right now because they can't guarantee any of that stuff's going to go through before the 18th, and that's just how it is. So they're like, oh, we're going to put a halt to it. We can do transfers later, and that's why. Cam Bailey, my mom is a mortgage processor in Washington. Just in the last 2 weeks, 12 of her coworkers were laid off, with another 2 more today. Those are canaries in the housing coal mine. Mortgage processors, brokers. JP Morgan laid off their entire mortgage department. There's like nobody offering mortgages at JP Morgan anymore, or Chase. Big Doug, what is it you want? What is it you want? So it's houses aren't going to get bought. they're just not going to get bought this summer. And normally summer is like the big buying season, but everything's just going to shrink as we go along. Okay, guitar stuff. Houston, someone said shorts don't have to give dividend until they return shares. No. If they return shares, they don't have to give a dividend. If they don't return shares, then they owe the dividend to whoever they borrowed from or anyone that they generated a synthetic for. The only way they don't owe is if they close out their position. And they can only close out their position by returning shares to the lenders. Aaron F. Houston, been absent a while, but good to see you're still doing your thing. I've got a down payment for a house. When do you think the best time to buy would be? Spring 2023? Well, probably 2023, 2024. So when the market collapsed in 08, 09, the absolute bottom for houses was like 2010, 2011 in there. And a little bit 2012. Like, I'm trying to think of just homes around here. My coworker tried to buy this cabin. So tiny little cabin. The market had collapsed. He had the money for it. He made an offer, and it wasn't as much as the person selling one for. House was $300,000 something. He offered like $280,000, and they're like, no. And then no offers came through. And then the house got lowered to like $280,000, and then no one bought it. And then it got lowered to $250,000. And by 2012, it was down to $113,000. And then my brother went and offered $113,000 and won. And bought it. Super cheap. Now that place is probably worth $600,000 to $700,000. That was 2012. So that was 3.5 years after the market collapse. And probably 3 years after my coworker had offered $280,000 for that same house. And it sat in the market, and it's just lowered. So we may see it may take a while for the housing market to pick up. If you got cash, you'll be able to buy pretty much anything you want. Especially if you're looking at auction, you'll be able to buy places for pennies. Is it the mansion the Mastros had? I think it was the Mastros. So there's this couple that ran a Ponzi scheme here in the Seattle area, and they put a bunch of rings and jewelry on the wife, and they fled to France with like millions of dollars in jewelry and went to go live there and avoid prosecution here in the United States. And I think it was their house was a $20 million mansion in Medina, not too far from where Bill Gates lives. And it went up for auction on the court steps of the King County Courthouse and sold for $200,000. This is like 2010. So you can get some screaming deals if you got cash. You can buy yourself, waterfront in one of the wealthiest communities in the entire world next to Bill Gates for pennies if the right house ends up at auction and no one has cash on hand. So if you got cash on hand, you will get screaming deals. That entire show was the one my mom likes to watch. I call it paint drying, HGTV. It was the one where the couple goes and buys auctions, flip or flop, flip or flop, I think is what it's called. And they started out doing exactly that. During the economy had crashed, they had real estate licenses, they weren't making any money. They're like, well, shit, let's go buy some houses really cheap and flip them. And so they would go to auctions and they'd buy these places just for pennies and then flip it and sell it. And as the market picked up, it got harder and harder to buy these homes at auction, but the homes are worth more and more as they'd sell them. So it's a process that works. You got cash, go to auction. Big dog. Big dog. Big dog. Okay. William Morgan says Paramount's interested in partnering with AMC. AMC has announcements on August 4th. Houston, did you hear about Simp Q? No. Simp Q. Dude, get your head out. I gotta be able to type. So somebody on the pink sheets? Or just Simp Q Photo Studio? I don't see a stock called Simp Q. There we go. Simply Incorporated. I don't know what to hear about it. Their stock is absolutely hammered. They're at $2. Now they're at 14 cents. I don't know anything about Simp Q, other than they are a fraction of what they were. They're going. Oops, like you can't see that. That's the Google Earth. There we go. Yeah, they had something going. They were at $2, $2.40 for most of the year, and then crash and burn. They were down to 1 cent, and now they went to 14, and now they're back to no, they're at 47. Went to 47, back to 14. So they had a nice bounce. So if you manage to buy in here, you can get 4 extra money. Not too bad. But I don't know anything about them at all. So apparently they make photo boxes for like people taking pictures of their food or something. That's all I know. I don't know anything about them, Eric. Okay, William Morgan. The law against production companies owning movie theaters started in 1948. It is August 7th, 2022. It allows movie theaters to be acquired by or partner with production companies such as Paramount. All right, so it comes August 7th of this year that they roll back that rule, which, these rules all exist for a reason. Like, there was a law for a long time that automakers could not own dealerships. Basically created too much of a monopoly. So dealerships had to be independently owned. Now Tesla's fighting that. Tesla has a bunch of dealerships that they shouldn't be allowed to own. And they are facing legal consequences for that. But the problem is that their service is terrible. The customer service is awful. And there's no recourse for it. You're so weird, dog. Just like put the nose right there in the armpit. You guys can't even see, but he's right there. And they always roll back these rules, like the rules after the Depression, where banks could not take your deposits and gamble with it in the market. And then they go, you know what? Maybe it's time we start allow banks to gamble with people's deposit money. 2008 happens. Oops. Like every time they roll back one of these rules, it bites them in the ass, and they go, "Oh, the rule existed for a reason. I guess we probably should go back to that." It might mean good news in the short term, but it's bad news in the long term for sure. Josh Pels, hello, goodbye. Happy birthday. Check out the stream later tonight. Lots of love, everyone. Well, thank you, Josh. If you guys haven't visited, Josh created his own channel, dog training tips and things like that. So go visit him and see cute dogs. Toma likes my shirt. Thank you. I wore my other pineapple shirt. I think I only have 2 pineapple shirts. This is pineapple shirt number 2. So hope you enjoy your pineapples today, folks. They're here for you. Moon Ape Houston. I'm going to start working for university soon. Should I sign up for 10-year pension TRS, or is that unsafe given the hedgies are gambling teachers' pensions? Always sign up for a pension. I mean, hedgies might gamble your pension, but your pension's your pension, and retirement. If you have the option for it, take it. Take that pension. My sister and her husband are able to double dip pensions, so they're going to be set. They have pensions from their colleges. They got pension from my sister's military career. They're solid. Take those pensions, man. Do it. Do it. Chakuseki, what up, Houston? Sorry, just tuning in. Did you talk about Shinzo Abe yet? Also, is the new AMC NFT comparable to GME split news? No. The AMC NFT is they're baseball cards. So like, hey, here's a baseball card. Congratulations. 800,000 of you have baseball cards. Woo! That's it. It's not comparable to GME split news at all. But yes, I did talk about Abe earlier. It's gnarly. It is crazy, and I'm really curious to hear more about the shooter. Is he built his own gun and hid it in a camera, and that's spy movie stuff. I want to know what his political leanings were, if he was just a nutso. I want to learn more. I'm very curious to see how that will go, and why did they assassinate a guy who's like already dying, and not a politician who's active because he resigned. He's like, I'm dying, I'm resigning. I'd give up this role. I'm very curious. I'm very curious as the motives behind it. William Morgan, Paramount could sign a deal for a large amount of money, $5 billion, allowing them to show their movies at AMC for free at a reduced cost compared to other production companies. I mean, if they were to send over that money, that would allow AMC to pay off all their debt at once and all of a sudden be in the green, which would make them a lot of money. It would allow them to get to the point where they could offer dividends. That's for sure. So it might be a huge deal for AMC. Yeah. Bzzz, get some protein. All exercise with no protein equals no gains. Well, you want good protein. Get your protein from meats and veggies. Don't use protein powders. Protein powders are full of all sorts of crazy heavy metals. None of them are monitored by the FDA or USDA, and they will result in you just shitting your brains out and getting colon cancer and all sorts of stuff. So if you're going to do protein, get it from natural sources. I don't trust protein powders any way, shape, or form. Joe Wickman, what was that company you mentioned that was going to filter strain the oil that was reinfected into old wells? I don't remember the name of the company. It was a conversation with a friend of mine, and I think it was a family member of theirs or something in Texas, and their job was, so the fracking process involves lots of water or hydraulic fluid being injected into the ground to crack the rock to release the oil. And the oil, all the oil that comes out can be impure and full of water, And so there are companies that their job is to collect this oil in trucks and drive it and dispose of it. And they get paid to haul the stuff away by the well drillers. And this guy had started a company where they basically distilled the water out of it, and so they had pure oil, and so they would get paid to haul the oil away. Then they distill it and turn it back into oil again, and then they sell that oil, and they're making a fortune because they got paid twice basically, once to dispose of it and once to sell the oil. I don't know the name of the company. I can't remember who it was I was talking to about that. If I find out, I'll let you guys know. Renzo Riga, Houston, given the fact that GME is declaring a share dividend, is it a given that the share price will be split in 4 on the 22nd of July? What is the value of the dividend shares? It will be reduced, but I don't know if it'll be reduced by exactly 4. Like a regular stock split, it would exactly be reduced by 4, but this is a dividend by a stock where a whole bunch of the float is locked up, so it won't necessarily be trading at exactly that ratio because people don't sell this stuff. BBR Germany, not financial advice. Just want to know, you own 1500 AMC and 5 GME. Now you have 17,000 to invest. Options are no option because you're not available in Germany. What would you buy and happy birthday? GameStop. You got 17,000 to invest? I would buy GameStop. 17,000 right now, that would get you, what, 100 and something shares? 130 shares. It's split 4 ways. All of a sudden, you're over 500 shares, that 17,000. That seems like the way to go for me. If I had 17 grand, I would be buying up GME like crazy. All right. YouTube really wants me, like, they are desperately trying to get me to do commercials during the middle of my show. I don't even, like, if I click this button, will it tell me when the commercial's over? Do I have to sit and wait for 30 seconds for it to be over? Or does it, like, pause my live stream? I'm really curious as to what, if I hit this button, what's going to happen. All of a sudden make me $1,000 for hitting this button? They come up to like, hey, they only started doing this the last show. Like, hey, insert an ad right now. Give it a try. Do it. Do it. I'm wary. All right, YouTube. I apologize to you guys ahead of time, but I'm going to click this button and see what happens. All right. Is it anything happening? Oh my gosh. What the heck? Excellent connection now. Now it says excellent connection after not working for a minute or two, and no videos coming through. It's just a spinning circle on my side. What the heck? On my side, there's no video popping through, but it says excellent connection. Can you guys even hear me? Alright. Maybe we'll turn the intro on, see what happens. Here goes the intro. That didn't work? Anything happen? What is up? Okay, you guys can hear me, but can you even see me? I've got no video on my side. I have no idea if anything's working. Okay, so Stephen Marr, Houston, what technology on the horizon that get you excited, give you hope? The future is just here, widely dispersed. All right. I am going to... I'm going to restart the stream. I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to end stream. Bang. End it. End.